Perfect, thank you. So first, housekeeping, just to remind you to keep your microphones in mute. And if you have any question or comment, or you want to share something, please use your chat box. Thank you so much. I see most of you already have done that. And June or Tina, if you are in the meeting, will help you guys to help us to monitor the chat box. Teresa Potter is going to be helping us to move the slides this morning. Okay, Teresa, thank you. Please, next slide. So in the morning here, we're going to start with a brief overview about FLATE. We'll continue with resources. Florida Department of Education will present Apprenticeship Florida. We will continue with Manufacturing Month, our researchers available. And we'll end our presentation with question and answer. So hopefully you have a lot of questions for us that we would like to help you today. Next. So I will introduce you this morning our Executive Director of FLATE, Dr. Marilyn Barger, who is going to introduce FLATE. Please, Marilyn.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I just want to take a moment to say welcome and just give you a quick overview of why we are the ones doing this here. We are now part of the Florida Makes Network and previously funded by the National Science Foundation ATE program for some 15 years. Together with our partnership with Florida Makes, we have some funding from the Florida Department of Education and their Strengthening Career and Technical Education for 21st Century, which is a Perkins 5 State Leadership Grant. So we thank all of those people for helping to support us and our work. Next slide, please. So our mission is pretty simple: to drive Florida's world-class manufacturing workforce, both in education and soon to be also some of the training opportunities. Next slide. So how do we do that? We have 4 kind of buckets of work that we use to categorize what we do. We work with curriculum reform and development. We do that a lot in partnership with the Department of Education, the CTE division. We provide educator professional development to workshops and webinars like this, face-to-face workshops, conference attendance, any of those opportunities to help educators keep up to date, both in pedagogy and also their content areas. We also help, we have an outreach bucket, outreach and student recruitment, where we're really focused on different strategies like Manufacturing Month to make more people, students, teachers, the community aware of manufacturing and its careers. And lastly, we also do some work in technician education research with some research partners around the country. Next slide. And now I'm going to turn it over to Sierra Anderson, our special guest today, who's the new Director of Outreach and Recruitment at the Florida Department of Education, Division of Career and Adult Education. We've partnered with this division, the CTE division, CTAE division, sorry about that, at the Department of Ed to roll out Manufacturing Month this year. So they're going to help us with our outreach, and are so happy to have Sierra here. Sierra?
Well, good morning, you guys. Thank you, Marilyn, for giving everyone a general overview of what FLATE does. And we're really happy to partner on this work, since we have many cross and joining initiatives that we're all working on together, primarily working towards a variety of goals with the tagline of 2030. One of them, chief among them, for education's purposes, is to be the #1 state in the nation leading in workforce development and education, which directly correlates to some of our other agency partners, such as DEO, and our non-agency partners with the Florida Chamber of leading the nation and the world as the 10th largest economy by 2030. So we've got some pretty high and ambitious goals, but I think through partnerships like this, where you guys have specialized skill sets, we can directly target some of those audiences and make sure that Florida remains competitive, and that we're supporting Floridians in the scope of individual households and giving them high wage earning and sustaining jobs, as well as promoting our economy and supporting our emergency industries. One of the ways that I think we could directly align those services is through our Apprenticeship Florida. We have 2 joint initiatives that directly dovetail into public information and outreach and recruitment. One of them is Get There. I hope you all are familiar with it. If you're not, let me know and I will make sure that I give you all the resources we have. But the one I'd like to focus on today, as it specifically serves this audience of manufacturers and business leaders, is Apprentice Florida. Apprentice Florida is a joint initiative with CareerSource, so that is housed out of the Department of Economic Opportunity. We work very closely with them to ensure that it's twofold, right? So we want to help prospective individuals who are looking for a job where they can get the education and the skill sets they need to feel confident and thrive in a particular industry. And so what we're trying to do is match those emerging industries that are leading Florida's economy and creating a direct pipeline where you're getting students, these businesses, they don't have to wait for a student necessarily to finish a curriculum, develop their skills. Then the student has to wait, apply for a job, and then the business gets a student that they can only really base it off of resumes and things of that nature. But Apprenticeship Florida allows the business to directly get in touch and mold and build their workforce. So what I'd like to share with you today is my screen. Let's go here. We're going to share it. Okay, can we get a thumbs up to make sure you guys can see it?
Yes,
You got it.
Perfect. So here you can see our Apprenticeship Florida. This is our website. It has all of the resources available, but I'll go ahead and directly link you to them as well to help navigate the website a little bit better. So of course, here's our landing page with some information. What I would like to draw to your attention, since you guys are business and industry leaders, is there are 97% of the employers that have used the apprenticeship model. And I'd like to add that apprenticeships have been around for since the 1500s. So it's a time-tested model. We know it works. But we love knowing that in the modern era, we've got employers that have used and recommend this program. It creates the opportunity for businesses specifically to recruit, train, and retain. So you're not having to worry about the business turnover where you train a student and then they leave. No, when you invest in them in the very beginning, they're more likely to be invested and loyal to you and your company and your mission. So for you guys, you'll probably spend most of your time in the employer section. This is where you can figure out, is apprenticeship the right program for me? If you're interested, I highly encourage you to fill out this section right here. And one of our CareerSource partners will reach out to you to try to figure out, how can we develop a model that best fits your needs? And there's a variety of different types of models. It's not a one size fits all. We'll do whatever we can to make sure you have what you need to be successful. And that is something that's directly housed within our office, since our Bureau of Apprenticeships, they specifically approve registered apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. So here you can see all the benefits and things of that nature. But I'd also like to draw to your attention some of the resources that we have currently available that talk about actually building your apprenticeship program. So this is our business toolkit. It has a variety of assets built into it. How do you do it? What model is best for me? What funding sources are available? And I'll make sure to drop the links to all of these in the chat box as well. So I'm happy to take any questions and make sure that you guys have access to everything I've referenced today. But we really encourage you guys to consider this as a work-based training model. You don't have to do it all on your own. The Department of Education is here ready to serve. And as of our partners across the state with our education institutions of 76 different colleges, both our state colleges and the district technical colleges as well. So we're here to serve and really make sure that we can meet those goals for 2030. Any questions?
So you have any questions, please just write in the chat. So far, I don't see anyone. Any question? Hopefully at the end, if you have any question, we can address that. So we can continue now with our presentation. Thank you, Sierra. Marilyn?
Oh, it looks like we did have a question. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes.
Peter?
Yeah. So I work at a small facility and I'd certainly be interested in doing an apprenticeship, but there's no way we could, we just don't have the breadth of work going on here that could facilitate an entire apprenticeship. I was wondering if there's a way, or if somebody's already done this where like a conglomerate of businesses got together and between them, like cover one apprenticeship, for example. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I do, because this is not a unique situation. So rest assured, you wouldn't be the first or the guinea pig per se. There is a pathway for you. I don't know all of the specifics on how it was implemented, but I do know specifically in the Space Coast, over in that Melbourne, Orlando area, they built a consortia with a variety of different employer sponsorships to build that apprenticeship program. And they did lean in very heavily to the partnership with their local education institution. I believe it's Eastern Florida State College.
Right.
So
Right.
that's one of the examples. And if you are interested, I highly encourage you to fill out that contact form. Or if you drop your email in the chat box, I can try to connect you to one of our local in-field members as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so I think we're back to talking about our main topic today. And thanks so much, Sierra. Apprenticeships are a great model for us to work and with our get young people or any age people into the workforce, very specifically for manufacturing. And those people still have to be recruited. So here we are back to Manufacturing Month. So basically, Manufacturing Month is what's on this particular slide. It's to inspire the next generation of workforce for manufacturing and educate the community at large on the importance of manufacturing in our daily lives, which should feed into the inspiration of our young people. And when we look at Manufacturing Month events, we're really focused on those particular groups. So we're looking at what student events to expose them to manufacturing. And certainly the traditional mode is to take students into a facility, which really worked well and really impressed students. We collected much data on that over the years. But it does include those virtual or in-person tours and classroom visits. Could be manufacturing-focused career fairs, manufacturing-focused industry expos, statewide or school-wide, manufacturing events, which might be like, if you remember, they still have things like assemblies where you might have a program about manufacturing sometime in October that brought in manufacturers. So any of these events are, we would classify as Manufacturing Month events, and we would be looking to tally those around the state in Florida this year, like we have in the past. Next.
You wanted me to launch the poll?
Oh, yes, go ahead, please. Sorry. So here we go. Look at this. We have lots of people already doing events and some newcomers. Let's see. Just a couple more seconds. Looks like we still got a couple more coming in. Thanks everybody for responding quickly. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. Let's close it up. So looks like a lot of you have already done some manufacturing events. Maybe you're looking for some new ideas or some new resources to engage students. So we're so glad you're here, because maybe you'll find something in the next few minutes for that. All right, let's see. Try to close this window here. So we do have some specific goals this year that Florida makes and FLATE for our Manufacturing Month. I'm not going to dwell on these too much, but I think our biggest change in goals, or very specific goal, is to engage manufacturers all across the state, which is encompassed in this 100% of the regional associations being involved with some kind of student event during the month of October. So we'll be calling out to many of you to make sure we can help facilitate at least one student event. And the others are numbers based on our past and what we've been able to do with Manufacturing Month in Florida in the last 5 to 7 years. Next slide. All right, so we have been doing this for quite a while, since 2013, when Manufacturing Day was first inaugurated by the Fabricators Association of America in partnership with NAM. And now NAM is the leading organizer, the National Association for Manufacturers, that is. So over that time, we've taken almost 30,000 students that we know of. I'm sure there's some unreported data in there that into manufacturing facilities around Florida. Almost 2,000 educators, and that includes counselors and the chaperones. We've had the manufacturers host over 1,000 tours and involved nearly 1,870 companies. Next. More importantly, we've surveyed many of the students that have gone on these tours over the years, not all of them, but many of them, and get great comments back from them. And also separately, I don't have any of those quotes here, but from our educators, just love having the opportunity to go into an experience industry that they're very unfamiliar with, so they can report back to their students and teach them about what they see on the tours. So here's a couple of quotes. I'll just let you read them. Hold it here for another second. I love the importance of math and science. They learned that. That's a great comment. All right, next slide. And I think I'm turning it over to Danielle now.
Yes, thank you, Marilyn. Well, like Marilyn was saying, we have partnered with the Florida Department of Education, and this is previous work with the National Science Foundation to provide resources for all of you. All these resources, this website is called madeinflorida.org. The intent is to promote manufacturing education in Florida, and is charged with amazing activities, exercise, fun lessons for you to use if you want to use it as outreach, if you want to go directly with the students and engage with their attention and motivation in manufacturing careers. So we have the resources for you to use. You just need to know where they're found. So we have resources for industry, like you can see in the top of the screen, resources for educators, for students. You can play with career paths. You can learn about what manufacturing is, what engineering, technology, for example, degrees are, and manufacturing careers that are related to. Anyways, just a lot of resources here that you can explore when you have more time. Hopefully you do. Next, Teresa. Our next resource is called AFLA Wiki. Again, is also charged with resources, tons of resources for you to use. We're going to focus today in Manufacturing Month, obviously, it's at the bottom left, but everything else that you can see is related to manufacturing. So at any time, and again, Manufacturing Month, it doesn't have to be October, it's any day that you can. And you can use any of these resources to recruit and promote our manufacturing careers. Next. So once you click in Manufacturing Month, the little window that we highlighted before, we have a bunch of resources that includes Manufacturing Month ideas and tips, so you can guide what type of event, depends on what type of event you are planning to use, then those are the tips for you to use. We have a list with resources. It's called Resource Toolbox, which includes a summary of all the resources that we recommend you can use as an industry host, or for you as a regional manufacturing association that you can recommend to your members too. We have virtual tours for Manufacturing Month. Now that we don't know what's going to happen this year, it seems it's going to be hybrid again. Some is going to be virtual, some are going to be face-to-face. Regardless, we are ready for anything that comes, and we have resources for that. We have a great resource, which is called Create a Virtual Tour, based on a PowerPoint presentation that our friend Peter Zirac just is here, and he was the one who asked the question to Sierra. Thanks, Peter, for your great support and contribution. This is a great presentation for you to review and make a really easy and fun, interactive virtual tour, if you will, for your students. And if you combine that, for example, for a live Q&A session, that will be awesome. That indicates that you can offer a face-to-face virtual tour. We have my Manufacturing Day a Month proclamations that will be coming soon once the governor signs it, but we encourage you to have your own local proclamations also. We will have the template for you to use. In addition, we have the Made in Florida company fact sheet, which I will explain later. Next, Teresa, thank you. So this is how it looks when you go into that Manufacturing Month specific website. So we have the host resources highlighted in black. In addition, what I mentioned, we have these amazing best practices, which is a summary of recommendation and tips that we have for you to create one of the best events for students, not only students, for educators and the entire community actually. They are intended to connect students and educators with industry partners, and has a lot of tools and sample materials that you can use and adapt for your own, depending what type of event you are going to plan. Thank you. Next, Teresa. For this year, we have already a beautiful Manufacturing Day poster to promote all these months filled with activities. Thank you, Teresa, for the design. We have 3 sizes for you, depends on which you want to use. We have already members using these to promote Manufacturing Month this year. You can print these or send it online for the educators, put it on your industry also to help us promote. This is a wonderful resource and easy to use and apply and print. Next. Another resource that we recommend, highly recommend for you to use is called What is Manufacturing? It's a handout, double printed. And in the first side that you can see right there is what is manufacturing in very short and sweet description, what manufacturing is, the careers that it represents. And in the back has examples of the possible jobs in salaries so students can get motivated. If you want, you can adapt this, depends of your company or your manufacturing area that you are. Everything can be adaptable. For the RMAs, you can add your RMA logo at the bottom and make it as suitable and personalized as possible. Next. Our next is our Made in Florida fact sheet. This is another resource that we recommend, highly recommend, and it has been designed for you. You can adapt this again for your company. We recommend educators to use this to study your company, the tour that you're going to provide, and get better prepared for the tour. But at the same time, if you can be proactive as a company, you can fill this out and distribute this to the educators. So you help a little bit more about providing information about what your company does, what type of products, manufacturing process involved, career opportunities, career paths, which skills are required. All this can be done in this small, that we call Made in Florida fact sheet, and it's all there for you to use. Next. This is very important, reporting. This is how we're going to measure our effort in Florida. All the efforts and time and money that you're going to spend, we need you to help us to fill these online surveys. This is the only way that we can show our efforts in Manufacturing Month and the recruitment and impact that we do in students. We have the online post-industry surveys. They're already updated. There are for students, for teachers, chaplains, or parents, and there is one for you as an industry host. Next. In addition to that, our partners, Florida Mix, we will have the Manufacturing Month hub, will be ready soon. We are in the process of updating. Just last year, we will have the awards, we will have all these webinars posted there. Someone was asking if this is going to be available online. Yes, the recordings will be available. Not only this one, but next week we have another one, and anything that we prepare for Manufacturing Month will be available all for you. Industry panels, virtual tours, any special event will be posted there. And something very important, we encourage you to post your event, contact your local regional manufacturing association, or if you're not sure which one is it, you can email us at event@floridamix.com. And in addition to that, we also are promoting to post this in Creators Wanted. This is the official site for all the nation, actually, where you can have all our events posted. Next. And just on time, I would like to thank you all for your participation. And this is the time to remind you about next week, not only for educators, it's for everyone involved in Manufacturing Month. We will be showing lessons and more resources for students here. So we have a few minutes left for any question or suggestion. Please write in the chat or just jump in the microphone. We have one last poll. Please answer that. Have you learned something about new resources available to help you plan for your Manufacturing Month event?
I'd like to just mention, I guess I've done this a few times already this this month, that schools request those posters all the time. They love to have things for their classrooms. It gives them a point to talk and to raise some interest with the students. So if you have any resources whatsoever to possibly print those and take them to your school, if you've adopted a school, for example, under the Florida Makes Adopt a School program now, that would be a great thing to do to help them have a poster to put in their classroom and get them excited about Manufacturing Month. So that's the genesis of the posters, are actually the educators' requests. So let you all think about honoring those requests if it's at all possible in your areas with your school partners or with your RMA school partner, educator partners. Do we have any questions over here?
Any questions? Let's see.
Teresa has put links, and Sierra has put some links in the chat. Remember, you can download the chat with the little 3-dot button to capture those links if you didn't get them right away from the chat there. So those are available.
So far, just thank you, representation. And I just want you to remind you about registering for next webinar, which is coming Thursday, August 27.
And not to hesitate to contact any of us on this list, on this last slide. If you have questions or have an idea that you want to talk about to see if we have some input or some other ideas to expand it or help you clarify what exactly you're thinking about doing for a Manufacturing Month event. The sky's the limit.
A lot of thank yous.
All right. Well, I guess we can close up. Thank you, Sierra, for joining us and partnering with us on Manufacturing Month for the Department of Education. And don't forget to contact us if you have any questions, everyone, and have a great day.
Hey guys,
Thank
real
you,
quick,
everyone.
sorry, I had a question. I don't think it went through. Will there be another instructional webinar for the virtual platform, just in case we do have to go virtual? I think there were some issues with firewalls and On24 last year, so instructions on that for industry would be pretty helpful.
I wonder if we could get June. Would you know that answer to that? If they're planning a instructional webinar? Oops, we might not have lost June. I don't really know, but we can find out, Christian.
Christian, for
see,
sure we will let Zoraida know, and that there is
Yeah.
a request for that. So
Right.
I'm pretty
We'll
sure.
get Amanda to send out a information on that.
Mhm.
I'm thinking it won't happen till after the Make More Talent Development thing coming up.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending. And again, like Marilyn mentioned, please email us. Let us know if you have more questions. We're here to help. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Have a great day.